today, Michael Morocco. Michael is a product specialist with GenexScore, and he will guide you through this webinar. Michael, take it over.
Perfect. Thank you, Dino. And thank you, everybody, for joining today's webinar on Basic Asset Management 101. Today, we will be reviewing the following items so that you have a clear understanding of the importance of utilizing the asset features within your maintenance care software. One, being why asset management is crucial. Two, being the types of assets. Three, how to create assets in the maintenance care software. Four, how to tie assets to a task. And five, how to extract important reports on assets. So why managing assets is crucial. The goal of asset management is to maximize the value of an investment portfolio over time while minimizing risk. Now, risk can be defined in two ways. One being life and safety risk, as you will be maintaining the certain asset to ensure proper use, and two being your financial risk. By maintaining your asset, you will increase the life expectancy and minimize the frequency in which you will need to replace the equipment. Finally, asset management is crucial for maximizing the value and performance of a company's physical assets, such as real estate, equipment, and infrastructure. Proper asset management involves identifying and prioritizing the needs of the asset, maintaining, improving, and disposing of the item if and when necessary. Types of assets. So when we talk about types of assets, we're generally referring to 6 different categories: current, fixed, tangible, intangible, operating, and non-operating assets. Maintenance care users mainly focus on the fixed, tangible, and operating assets. These can be anything from the physical building itself, the equipment within the building being the furniture and fixtures, machinery, or even mobile assets like vehicles. It is important to properly categorize your assets so that you can properly report on each type. For instance, all of your heating and cooling equipment should be grouped together in an asset classification such as HVAC. Kitchen equipment should be grouped in a category or classification called appliances. Vehicles can be classified under vehicle or fleet. Having these assets classified will allow you to pull the report that will group these assets together. So now what I'm going to do is I'll take you into the actual system, and I'm going to show you how to create an asset, then how we can tie that asset to a task and create a transaction, and I'll show you how to pull some important reports. All right, so Dino, can you see my screen there?
Not yet,
No?
actually.
Okay, let me just take a look here. Let's go here, bear with me. Perfect. Now, can
Okay.
you see the mountains in the background there?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Beautiful. Okay, wonderful. So right here, this is your maintenance care platform. So as you can see, we are on the task page. Now, to create an asset, you will need to go to the admin tab. And the first thing you need to do is create that asset classification. So as I mentioned, HVAC, appliances, vehicle, those are the classifications that you'll need to create in order to put an asset into the system. So as you can see here, we have a bunch of classifications, general equipment, furniture. It's very easy to add an asset by just clicking on the blue button up at the top, and you'll have to put the code in. We generally suggest you put a 3 to 4 digit code, just grouping that asset. So if it was HVAC, you would put HVAC, then the name, which would be heating and cooling. And then we would make sure that it's active. When I hit save, it's going to let me know that there's an error. I already have this asset fixed in my asset classification. So what we can do is we can change this out. If we want, we can put HVAC 2, and that would save that record. So the first thing is create that asset classification under your admin tab. The next thing would be going into your cabinet. Think of this as a filing cabinet. This is where the assets are all going to be housed. So you'll click on your assets, and as you can see, we have a bunch of assets within this area. What we can do is we can click on add, and you'll see here there's a bunch of different areas that need to be filled out in order to create the asset. However, there are some that are mandatory. So as you can see in red, these items here need to be input into the system in order for you to create that asset, classification being one of them. So your asset code, Asset code can be anything from, let's say we're going to have a bed. Now, we do suggest that you enter in a numeric number if you have multiples. The reason being is we want to make sure that if we have 50 beds, we can go bed 001, 002, 003, and so on and so forth. So as you grow your assets, you can certainly put them into here and still have room for multiples. You'll want to make sure that you have your status as active, the facility. So if you have multiple facilities, you'll be able to drop down and select what facility it's going to be in. Your asset classification, again, that's very important because we need to group these together. So let's go ahead and say for this particular asset, it is bed. We're going to put it under furniture. The description. Description is also an important area because when you're pulling the information from your main page and you're searching for the assets, it's going to pull not only from the asset code, but it's going to pull from the description as well. So the more descriptive you can be, the better. So let's put in here bed with wheels and rails. Now, the date purchased. Some of you will know the date purchased if it's a new asset, if it's a new building, a new facility. Some of you may not know the date purchased because you're working with older assets that are already in the building. So what we suggest doing is if you know the date, of course, put the date in that you know. If you don't, we suggest putting in a date that you think the asset's age is. So for instance, let's just go in and say we've purchased this building a couple years ago. We don't know the asset age, but we can guesstimate that we purchased it back in, let's say, 2016. So we're going to make sure that we're putting in an estimated date, and we'll just use the 12th. There we go. The other area is a warranty. If you don't know the warranty, you can leave that blank. If you do know the warranty, it's very helpful to put it in. Your vendor, if you have a list of vendors that you've purchased all of this equipment from, you can certainly enter those into maintenance care, and you can actually just drop down and select the vendor that it was purchased from. So in here, we can purchase, let's say it was from Michael's Bed Supplies. Make, model, serial number, all of these are also very important to put in. Again, it's just the more information you put into maintenance care, the more you're going to get out of it. You're going to be able to report on these things and pull up different reports based on these details.